Okay. So first, can you like tell me a little bit like about your experience and what you do?
Yeah. So at this moment, I'm a youth pastor at the Father's House. I moved here last year, September, and yeah, from there on, I've just been working with youth and discovering, yeah, more about Rochester and the people we're working in. So it's an interesting time. But before that, I was a missions pastor down in South Africa.
Mhm.
I originally am from South Africa and grew up in South Africa and the whole context of that. Worked with a bunch of organizations, obviously with missions pastor comes a bunch of different backgrounds. So working in the human trafficking scene, South Africa is very known for human trafficking, and also working with a bunch of welfares with students that are being held in a welfare because either of law cases or actually really just disciplined kids that are in need of safety and that way. But it's always been part of youth. And yeah, and then last year I got opportunity to come over and be a youth pastor here at the Father's House. And since then, just been serving as a youth pastor. So not being physical in the missions anymore, but more on, more of the platform, talking from a platform, preaching in that type of way. So it's much different than I'm basically used to, but still at the same time, it's fun and yeah, you now just trying to encourage people to rather take the step and rather than you taking it, and
Yeah.
inspire people in that type of way. But that's what I've been doing now, and
Nice. So can you tell me a little bit more about the sex trafficking aspect of what you did?
yeah. So we, um, you said this has been recorded, right?
Yes.
Okay, no, I'm just joking. So I work with various organizations. So the biggest thing that we did in South Africa was we as a church we reached out and see how we can volunteer first of all with certain cases of organizations. Now the various organizations that we supported was the first one was Brave to Love. Now Brave to Love was literally working with the prostitutes in the city. So where I'm from, it's called Pretoria, South Africa. That was my hometown. Now, what we did in Pretoria itself was we worked with the prostitutes, and the biggest thing was try to get them out of the industry. Now, what happens with most of that industry? I think it's last time we did a survey, it was like 91% of the people that are prostitutes in South Africa are out of human trafficking cases. So it's literally people that are being actually declared missing but are being held in all these places and all these nightclubs and being used as prostitutes. So what our biggest mission was going to the clubs, and obviously main for myself, I needed to build relationship with all the pimps and get in their good books. And obviously then we have a women's team that reached out to the women, and out of that was building connection, building relationship, and until they declare we want to be safe. Yes. So basically what we did as well was also in operations is the moment they just said, okay, there was I try to get the sorry, I'm translating from Afrikaans
Okay.
to English. I'm like thinking, what's the English name for this? But basically, it was also like a hotline, like an Amber Alert, that the moment something like that goes off, the whole neighborhood went into searching, and also it influenced. We had people in different areas knowing a lot of this industry because it's actually sad to look at it, but everything is so connected to the black market.
Oh, definitely.
Everything is from gun trading to illegal organ trading through human trafficking with kids, and all that has been, it's scary to think of that systems, but all of that is connected. So we have basically people placed everywhere in all these different neighborhoods to maybe basically do research. So the moment we hear a human trafficking case, we know we alert that person, and obviously only initial is to find deeper info regarding that. And then what we also did as an organization is we reached out to these students with counseling. Now that was more of my part because I'm a youth pastor and I have more experience in
We're kind of
counseling.
running out of time, but if there's any like last advice that you would give for if, if we're not in an organization, what could we do to at least like help or like spread awareness?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and you can see it even here, is I know for me it's always about serving. First thing is, not only from our side, from our generation, I think the biggest thing is human trafficking and everything is always picking up. It's gonna pick up because that industry is one of the biggest industries in the world, and it gets the biggest money flow without us even doubting it. We know about what's the guy from Amazon. We know about his net worth, but we don't know about the underworld, about how much stuff is being spent in that type of way. And for us as people, I think the biggest thing is spreading actually just the word of local organizations that are in the industry working on it, by supporting them first of all. No, I'm not saying you need to quit studying and just jump in and go volunteer. No, but there is organizations in our surroundings that we know that are busy focusing on it. So helping them, I know, would already help, first of all, the industry of stopping and putting it to stop. But the second thing is, I think, just to be cautious, don't hold back on information that you ever get. If you, I think the biggest thing that we try to cover up is saying, no, it's not a big thing. Now, for instance, for me, if you see something that looks shaky, go report it at the police. Don't hold back on not reporting it, because that's obviously something that you tell yourself, oh no, that's not a big thing. But it is a big thing. There's a reason why that stuff is in place. But I feel like in our society, we are so afraid to raise our voices because we're like already doubting the system, and we're doubting if our words are actually going to help. But any word, and especially if you look, now obviously for me, I worked on both ends, working with the prostitutes and also working with parents who lost their kids in human trafficking. Now, any word is better than no word for a parent that lost their kid in human trafficking. Even if you just say there's hope and we heard something, is better hope for a parent that just lost their kid in that industry. So if you hear any awareness, don't hold back and actually speak it out loud. I think that is the only thing that we can do, because sometimes there's no thing to be traced, but a single word can open up a new file to reach human trafficking, or people that are stuck in human trafficking.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this interview. This was very informative, and I think the audience could take a lot from this. So thank you so much.